So I signed up for a half marathon, and I have never run over 4 miles before in my life. So this video is going to be all about why I signed up, when my race is, how my training is going, and what plan I'm following. Maybe this will give you a bit of inspiration or just general knowledge about half marathon training, because I did not know much before starting this process, and I really did just sign up on a whim. It was January 1st. I was feeling very New Year's resolution. I'm gonna do all these things. I was feeling very inspired for the new year, and I was like, I'm gonna sign up for a half marathon. So I went on this random website and I searched like half marathons in Oregon 2022, and one came up that was in May. I'm not going to say the exact race yet because there's some creepy people on the internet. But anyway, there is a reason I signed up for this specific marathon, which I will talk about when I'm done. But anyway, I signed up for one in May, which gave me enough time to train for it, but it was also like close enough where I was like, okay, I'm not going to put this off for too long. So I'm just going to answer some questions and then also insert some clips throughout the past few weeks of training on how I've been feeling and tips and tricks that I've found along the way. First question was, why did you sign up? When is it? Which I kind of already talked about, but I also signed up because I had known that I wanted to run a race sometime, but with COVID, I just hadn't been able to. The whole reason I started running, which I talked about on my TikTok, was because my family and I randomly signed up for a 5K race at Disney, and then it got shut down due to COVID, but I just kept on running and I loved it. So I always knew I wanted to do a race. I wasn't sure when it was going to be able to happen, and it really is for myself. I'm doing this completely on my own and doing all the training on my own. I tried to get Clark to join in with me, but he didn't want to. But that's okay, because I think it's really important to do things for yourself, and this was honestly just a way for me to be like, look how far I've come, because previously I could not run a mile without stopping. My longest run before starting this process was 4 miles, which is long for some people, and that's what worked for me. But I have been since increasing my distance, and it has been so fun to see the progress and how much I've been improving, not only in my endurance, but on my speed and just like length of running, and I really have enjoyed this entire process so far. What training plan are you following? So I went back and forth between this. I watched my friend Taylor's video all about her deciding what plan to follow. You guys should go check her out. She just finished her first half marathon. I'm so proud of her. Please check out her channel. She's incredible. But I went back and forth on what training plan to follow. There are so many out there and it can get very overwhelming. My initial thought was that I wanted to follow the Nike Run Club or the Peloton training plan. Peloton only had a marathon training plan, and it seemed like it wasn't quite what was going to work for me. And then the Nike Run Club one also was a little bit longer, and I just wasn't sure if that was the right one. So I ended up going with a Run with Hal Higdon, I think his name is, training plan that I found online, and I'm part of a Run Disney Facebook group because, again, that was initially the race that I was going to be running way back in the day, but a lot of them recommended the Run with Hal programs, and they are free online, which is amazing. I literally just printed out his novice run half marathon program. I have it right here. This has been on my fridge for the past 7 weeks, and I have just been checking off, and there is an app to go along with it, but the app it's fine. It's not like my favorite thing I found, but I think you have to pay if you want like the premium features, and I just didn't want to have to pay for it. I already pay for a Peloton subscription, and I was like, I don't want to have to pay for something else. So this training plan I have been following pretty much to a T, and it has been working really well for me, and I have been using the Nike Run Club app for my outdoor runs and then Peloton on my indoor tread runs, so I just end up using those classes anyway, but this is the specific structure that I've been following. Good morning. It is day 3 of half marathon training, and my plan today says that I should do 2 miles or cross training for 30 minutes, so I'm gonna do a Peloton boot camp, which is essentially just cross training. It has a little bit of running, but it works for me. I'm not really feeling like I'm super into this plan yet because it's not super different so far than my normal like week of workout routine. I feel like I'm gonna have to get more into it, maybe like 6 weeks, 8 weeks in for me to start really seeing the challenge of increasing my mileage, because I feel like right now the like first maybe 4 to 5 weeks are just like my base routine as normal. So I don't think a lot of the challenge is going to kick in until later. Not that this isn't difficult, but I feel like I'm kind of already used to this level of activity and mileage. So it's going well so far, but check back in a couple weeks. The next question is, how do you decide what runs you're doing on the tread versus outdoor? So I have made it a priority to do all of my long runs, which fall on a Sunday, outside. And this is more like a mental thing for me. I think it's really good to just get used to doing those long runs outside. Those truly are just like a mental game. Like it's you against your brain of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to run 7 miles, but just to get out there outside, it's really motivating. So every Sunday, no matter what, I have been getting outside for my long run. And then other days, I am pretty much exclusively training on the Peloton tread. It's been working really well for me. I put a little bit of incline on the tread just to add a little bit of resistance, and then have been just taking classes that align with the mileage. So if I have a 3-mile run, I'll do around a 30-minute class or stack a couple other classes, and that's been working really well. I've watched a ton of videos on training on the treadmill or outdoor. I see the benefits of both, which is why I'm trying to do both. And there are some days where I will do a shorter run outside. Just kind of depends on the Oregon weather as well, but I love my tread, so I don't see myself doing many more runs outside. I will get back to you on if I thought the treadmill prepared me well enough for the race. How is your training going, and how do you find the motivation to keep checking off all of the training plan runs? So this comes down to discipline and consistency, which is something I have found over the past few years. It's definitely a learned skill, but you're not going to be motivated every single day. I don't wake up every single day thinking, wow, I would love to run 4.5 miles as part of my training program today. But when I look back, all of the runs make the race that much easier. If I run 4.5 miles today, I'm going to be a lot less miserable when I'm running 13.1 on Sunday. So I just find it really does come down to just having a certain amount of discipline, and you do have to be kind of hard on yourself, and that's why I just keep it on my fridge, and if it's there, it's going to remind me that I'm going to get that done. I've also talked a lot on my TikTok about the Nike Run Club guided audio runs, and same with Peloton, but there are specific ones on Nike Run Club that I will link down below that are so motivating, and a lot of them talk about what do you need to do today to make your race that much easier.
5 miles have been completed, and it felt really good. I cannot recommend Nike Run Club guided runs enough. There are so many on the app to choose from, and I swear every single time I turn one on, the coach says exactly what I need to hear. I'm gonna put a screenshot of the one that I listened to today. So many good nuggets of information if you're following a training plan or just trying to run more often, increase your distance, whatever it may be. So many good tidbits. So I highly recommend. And that's week 4 done. And we'll just take next week as it comes.
In the very beginning of this training program, I was so worried about what I was going to have to do in my 8th, 9th, 10th week of training. I was like, oh my gosh, one of the training runs is 9 miles. Like, I've never run over 4. And you can't think like that. I just think day to day. So I wake up on that day and I look at my training plan, and it is a 3-mile run. That is what I have to do today to reach the goal of running the half marathon. I'm trying not to think about the future and what's to come in the training program, because I know when I get there, I will get it done somehow. If I have to walk, if I have to do intervals, it's going to get done. It's just what you have to do on that day. So I highly recommend checking out the Nike Run Club and Peloton guided audios. The instructors are so motivating and just educated on the subject, so I have been taking a lot of learnings from them. Next question comes down to equipment and accessories. So what shoes are you running in, and what are you using to carry stuff while on your runs? So for my indoor runs on the tread, I have tread specific shoes. I will link what these are down below. I think they're like the Tempo Nike Next Percents. I'm not 100% sure. These need to be replaced soon. They have about 600 miles on them, I think, and they are showing that. So these will probably be replaced soon, but I keep them for only on the tread because I'm a freak about keeping my tread clean. And for outside, I got the Zoom Fly 4s for Christmas from my parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And I really do like these. I think they're a little bit narrow for my foot, so I will probably be replacing these again before the race because they have quite a lot of miles on them. I'm thinking I'll get a new pair in like April, which is in a couple weeks, and those will be the shoes that I run in for the race. I might go back to the Nike Pegasus that are a little bit wider, and I've really loved running in those. So these were a new one for me. I do like them, but if you have a wide foot, I probably don't recommend. And then as far as equipment, I have been obsessed with my flip belt. I don't know where it is right now, but I will put a link in a picture on the screen. It is a game changer. Previously on my long runs, even if it was like 3 miles, I was running with my phone in my hand. I don't know why. And I was just making it so much harder on myself. I was exerting so much energy carrying my phone. Like, that thing is heavy. And the flip belt fits so snug and tight around my waist, and it fits my phone, my wallet, keys. It fits like gels or Rice Krispie treats if you're me. And I can see myself probably wearing it on race day depending on what fuel I end up bringing, which is another question of what are you fueling your runs with. I post a lot of what I eat in a day while half marathon training content on my TikTok, so you can check that out, and I will get back to you all on what kind of fuel I actually end up using during the race, because right now my longest run so far has been 6 miles, and I have not used fuel during a run other than a Rice Krispie treat and some water. I'm looking to experiment with some gels or other type of goo, so if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below because that would be very helpful. And I can definitely see them easily fitting in the flip belt, so that's probably what I will use during the race unless I find another method of carrying things that I find is really helpful. And the half marathon that I'm running has already released the course map and the fueling stations, so I don't actually anticipate having to carry that much with me other than my phone and like a couple other things, because they have fueling stations throughout the race, so I'm not going to be carrying a water bottle, etc. So a flip belt has been perfect. And for headphones, on the tread, I use Beats Pro. I like them. They get the job done, or the AirPods Pro are great as well, but I find that those fall out of my ears sometimes. But outdoor, you guys, if I can recommend one product, it is the Aftershokz AeroPex headphones. I discovered these through a Run Disney post on the Facebook group. They're running headphones designed for outdoor running because I find I get really nervous when I'm running outside in a busy area and there's cars or other people around and I can't hear my surroundings. These are induction headphones, I think they're called, and they go like just over your earlobe, so not actually in your ear, and you can completely hear your music, but you can also hear your surroundings, and they are such a game changer. I will have them linked. I absolutely love them. Probably my number one thing that I've used throughout this training, and I will definitely be using them during the race. And the last question is just how am I feeling so far? I think I've been doing pretty well at keeping consistent. Some runs have been a lot harder than others. I've really tried to prioritize fueling and also doing the cross training sessions. I get really lazy when it's like not a run because I just love running so much that I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do another cross training or strength class, but I have found that they have been really important, especially the Core for Runners class on Peloton has been so great at strengthening my core. And I did not realize how important it was to have a really strong core when you're running. So I highly recommend those classes, but overall it's been going pretty well. Right now I am 7 weeks in, and as you're watching this, my long run on Sunday is going to be 7 miles, which is the longest I will have run ever consistently. And I am looking forward to the latter half of the training plan. I am a little bit nervous for it. I'm trying again not to think too much about what's to come, but I do think the second half of the training program is going to be a lot more challenging just because I'm used to running 3 to 4 miles, and that's kind of been the cap each week for like a per day, but getting into 7 miles, and then I'm looking at like there's a 6-mile run one day that's not a long run, it's just like a day's worth of running. So I am looking forward to the challenge, but I also know that it might get a little bit more intense in the coming weeks. But overall, I am really looking forward to the race, and I'm just excited more than I am nervous to just do something for myself that I have been wanting to do for so long. And I will document the second half of this experience, and I will definitely vlog on race day, so don't worry, that is all to come. And I can already see myself signing up for another, which sounds insane, but you gotta keep the momentum going. That is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and subscribe for more half marathon content and all of the other content that you may want to see. Please comment down below if there is a specific video you want to see from me, but otherwise I will see you next week.